Even after you've completed treatment, you never get a clean bill of health. Unlike other diseases or even other cancers, the doctors will never tell you that you're cured. Instead, they'll tell you there's no evidence of disease, or NED. This provided no sense of closure for me for my breast cancer experience. I was always in limbo. The cancer could always come back. I did get a second opinion, and I did some reading on breast cancer, but I never challenged what my doctor recommended. Being in cancer research, I found that I had more faith in my treatment than many do, and my doctor is one of my organization's researchers, and he is a stellar physician. He thought I should have chemo, so I took his recommendation. I never seemed to get tired of all the appointments, and there were definitely a lot of appointments between the treatments and the follow-ups and the checkups, not to mention chemotherapy and radiation therapy. But of course, I had to devote myself to seeing the doctors while I was sick because that's all part of getting well. I felt active in my own treatment. Personally, I liked all the attention.
Back in October of 1968, I went for my yearly physical. I had felt a lump in my breast when I was exercising with my daughter. So I told the doctor about the lump and how it seemed to tighten up whenever I was nervous or uptight. And then the pain, it went down my arm. So he said, it was only nerves. Back then, you believed what your doctor said, and you lived with it. Later, I learned that the doctor's son was MIA in Vietnam, and he had his mind on other things. He did return safely, though. In the meantime, I was on Weight Watchers and had lost 40 pounds by the next May. I wonder if that was why the doctor was able to feel the lump the next time he examined me. He said, we better check this out. I remember praying to God that he'd let me live long enough to see my children grow up. I will always remember that day, June 3rd, 1969. I had my first mastectomy. When I entered the hospital, I was handed a piece of paper that I was supposed to sign, giving the doctor permission to remove my breast if the frozen section of the lump proved to be malignant. The doctor said it was cancer, and he had to remove it all. During my hospital stay, and they let you stay 10 days back then, I met 5 other women who had also had mastectomies. We would walk up and down the hall, and we'd talk about the future. After that, we had to go through cobalt treatments. Now, in order to prepare ourselves and build up our strength, we had to take our surgery side against the wall and try to climb the wall with our arms. This was so that we could extend our arms over our head during the treatment. You know, it took me almost a month to get flexible enough. But the thing was that after the treatment was over, I would see one name after the other in the obituary column, and I would wonder if I would ever make it. It was a really strange feeling, lying in a dark room on a really hard table, waiting for those treatments to begin. First, they would place a lead shield on my left side, and that was to protect it from the cobalt. And then the machine came directly down above my chest, and I would hear the ball roll down the chute and drop into the pocket, and it stayed there for a few minutes, and then it was over. But it felt like it took forever.
Ready? Okay! Give me a C! Give me a C! Give me an H! Give me an E! Give me an M! Give me an O! What's that spell? Chemo! Woo! Hey, Margaret, are you ready to beat that cancer? Are you ready to win?
Sure.
Okay, nurse. Prep that skin, prick that arm, promise we will do no harm. Don't be sad, don't be blue, we'll get that cancer out of you.
So how long does this take? 1, 2, 3, 4. Won't have breast kits anymore.
Please be happy. Don't be grumpy. 3 more hours and you'll be done.
Yay,
chemo! Go, go, fight, fight. Be sure to take it slow tonight. Go, Margaret!
Chemo was never really that bad. It was hard to feel alone or really think about what was happening. The idea that this bright red poison was being injected into my body and I was to hope that it would find its way to my breast was always in the back of my mind, but it was hard to dwell on. The nurses and the doctors would do anything to make me feel comfortable. Everyone in the room looked like me too. When you go out grocery shopping with a bald head, people will stare. But when you get chemo, you're just one of the gang. I felt active in destroying my cancer. I was doing something. We were doing something. I was part of a team.